She moved our daughter's bedtime earlier the week I learned my marriage had a second calendar, and she assumed I wouldn't notice the missing hours. I was 38, a respiratory therapist in a desert city where night shifts feel endless and promises feel thin by morning. I married young, steady, believing loyalty was a muscle you built by repetition. My wife ran a boutique fitness studio and spoke in schedules and growth plans. We shared a house that smelled like eucalyptus cleaner and crayons, a routine built around school drop-offs and packed lunches. I trusted what showed up every day. Rising tension crept in as logistics. New classes added at odd hours. Phone on silent during dinner. Receipts that didn't match routes. Our daughter learned to read clocks before I learned to read the gaps. I told myself ambition rearranges time. Then a friend forwarded a flyer from a charity gala featuring my wife's studio as a sponsor. The photo showed her laughing beside a man whose arm knew exactly where to rest. The caption named him as a donor liaison. The calendar in my head shifted. I didn't confront. I documented. I tracked attendance sheets she left on the counter, donation acknowledgements, studio credit card statements that paid for hotel rooms in cities without workshops. I found messages archived, careful and tidy, discussing strategy, secrecy, and weekends labeled as conferences. When I stopped sleeping, I started saving. The turning point wasn't discovery, it was misdirection. She filed first, asking for primary custody, citing my nights and my exhaustion as instability. She wanted support calibrated to my income, the house, the car, the life we built. She assumed my work made me invisible in daylight courts. She assumed grief makes people sloppy. Resolution arrived through preparation. I hired a forensic accountant who spoke in patience. We traced funds from her studio to personal expenses disguised as marketing. We mapped dates to messages and messages to charges. I requested my hospital's attendance logs, showing I was home on the nights she claimed absence. I compiled school pickup records, pediatric appointments, therapy visits, proof of constancy that doesn't announce itself. In court, facts replaced narratives. The donor liaison turned out to be married too and allergic to scrutiny. The judge frowned at misused charitable funds and frowned harder at coached testimony. Custody shifted to shared with my home as primary base. Support recalibrated to honesty. The studio lost a grant when the board reviewed finances. The liaison resigned quietly from his foundation role. At home, silence didn't feel like victory. It felt like vacuum. I learned how to braid hair before school and how to answer questions without poisoning a child's future. I sold the house we chose together and moved closer to my hospital, closer to mornings. My wife moved into a smaller place near her studio and spoke publicly about resilience, privately about bad luck. The final punchline came months later at a parent-teacher night when my daughter ran across the room and wrapped my legs, breathing hard from excitement. I realized justice isn't loud or humiliating. It's accurate. And accuracy, applied patiently, takes everything false and leaves it nowhere to hide.